In this video, I'll demonstrate how to create a side-by-side comparison table using WinCross. To begin, we'll first look at the data file and also show an example of a side-by-side table I've already created and how we got there. For this example, we're going to be using question 1. For question 1, we can see we have 5 variables. How would you rate the overall quality of each brand? We have the 5 different shoe brands, and it's on a rating scale from 1 to 5, with a 5 being very good and a 1 being very poor. Our goal here is we want to see a single table with these different brands compared side by side. To do this, we're going to create a side-by-side table. First, let me show you what a side-by-side table looks like. Here's a side-by-side comparison table that we'll be creating. We can see that we have the 5 different brands as the banner columns and our rating scale as the rows and stubs, and we also have the significance testing down on this table. So let's go ahead and create a side-by-side table to get here. To begin with, we'll go to Setup, Side-by-Side for VAR Plus. I'm going to create a new side-by-side. And the first thing we want to do is we want to pick the variables that we want to have as the column. So this would be your brands, for example. So I'll scroll down to my question 1 variables. I'll choose all 5 of them. I'm going to use the green arrow to move these variables over. The blue arrow is used to create a side-by-side for a multiple response type question. There'll be another video to explain an example how to do that. For this example, we're going to be using the green arrow. And we can see our 5 variables have been moved over. And WinCross has automatically removed the text from us, the like text here, and put it like place as our title. So we can see our title is Q1. How would you rate your overall quality of each brand? And our 5 columns are Nike, Adidas, Puma, Skechers, and Reebok. We also see our variable names there. If we look down over on the bottom left area here, we can see our different rows that are going to be created. So this is coming from the variable. And from here, we would want to go ahead and do any edits we want to have on this table. For example, we want to flip the scale. So it goes 5 to 1. We may also want to add some nets. So we want to do a top 2 box net and also a bottom 2 box net. So we highlight our rows and then select net rows. And you continue going through and editing making edits to this table. As you go, there's a preview option. It's in near the bottom middle area. So you can select on preview, and WinCross will run this table for us so you can see exactly what it's going to look like. And once you're happy with the rows, we can go ahead and in the upper right hand corner, we have other additional options we can add to this table. So we'll do side-by-side options. For example, we probably want to do significance testing on here, so we're going to check the box for perform significance testing. This is where you can also add additional table options, such as the mean table option, standard deviation, standard error, and just a filter. These would be all the same options that you would have on a table. So the table options, this is the equivalent in this area here using the interface. In addition to, over on our row area, we have row options. That's near the creating the nets in between rows. That would be for specific options you want to place on a specific row. And we'll go ahead and select OK. This looks good. Now we'll select OK again. And now we can run this side by side. So if I go to Run, Tables, I'll pick our new side by side created and run this example. And we can see our side by side table created. In addition to creating a single side-by-side table, you can use the same side-by-side setup for additional questions. So if I go back into our data grid here, I can see down below here on question 5, I have a very similar question. So it's question 5, we have those same 5 brands here, but it's on a different scale. And they're rating how likely it would be to recommend those products. So we do not need to create an additional side-by-side, we can add to our current one. So if I go back to side-by-side, so I go to Setup, Side-by-Side for VAR Plus. I'll edit my existing one, edit side-by-side. And we have what are called sections. So you can see our original side-by-side here. I'm going to go ahead and add section. And then we need to tell WinCross what question we want to add. So if I scroll down my question 5, so it's going to be question 5. I pick my first variable, Q5_1, and select OK. You notice here that the rows have been updated for our new variable here. So we'd want to do the same thing here as far as going through making any edits we want. So let's go ahead and flip our scale. And you also notice in our columns here, we have our column text as Nike, Adidas, Puma. It's going to copy that from the existing ones. And our variable names here are question 5 underscore 1, underscore 2, underscore 3, underscore 4, underscore 5. So we can see that WinCross is pulling the correct data. If you need to make an adjustment here, if it's using a different variable, you can make that change here. Looking back at our sections, we have our section 1, which is our first question, our question 1. Section 2 is a question 5 using the same attributes here, or brands. And we can go ahead and preview this one. And that looks good. Another way to create side-by-side tables is to use a table that already exists. For this example, we're going to recreate question 1, but using it from a previously created table. So begin here. I'm going to go back to our main setup side-by-side area. And there's an option in the bottom middle area here. It says convert from tables. So this is going to use an existing table that I've previously created in WinCross to give me a head start on creating my side-by-side table. So for this example, I'm going to pick question 1. How would you rate your following overall quality of each brand? And this is the first one, Nike. I'll select OK. And I'm going to go ahead and edit this side-by-side. So now if we look at the side-by-side, you'll notice on the row area here, this is pulling from the table that's already been created in WinCross. So we can see that we already have a net selected or net added here, and about 2 box net added, as well as our don't know refused, have the rank low options added, and we also have a means and version standard error. So this is already implied. So WinCross is able to pull that from the table that's been created previously and have those settings already applied. Next, we'll just need to add the rest of the columns. So we have our Nike column here. So if I go to the upper right hand or left hand side here, I'll grab my other brands as well. So Q1 underscore 2 through Q1 underscore 5 and move those over using the green arrow. I'll want to remove this extra text here. So if we highlight, you can either highlight or just right click. If you right click, you select remove common text. WinCross will go through and remove that common text there. So now we have our column text applied. And the last change we'll have to make here is removing the extra Nike text on the title. So we have question 1, how would you rate your overall quality of each brand? And remove Nike. Now I'll go ahead and preview this table. And this is another way of creating a side-by-side banner. We also have a video on how to create a side-by-side banner for a multiple response type question. And also VAR Plus logic is also supported in WinCross. This is just a new interface to make VAR Plus easier, but the old school way of creating VAR Plus table is still supported. Thank you for watching this video. This concludes a simple tutorial on how to create a side-by-side. Check out our other videos.